welcome everyone. My name is Terry Dillon, the CEO and co-founder of CLUBMAP. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We've got some special guests here tonight. So from Elites Sports Philanthropy and Rob Trolful and his team will go through some key components on philanthropy funding for community sport. And again, this is a much unneeded topic for a lot of our community organisations. Before we kick into the topic, I want to acknowledge our partners, the Australian Sports Foundation, also the Active Queenslanders Industry Alliance, and also obviously thanks Telstra for acknowledging us for our contribution to community in recent times. Just for those that are new tonight, if you've got any questions, please place them in the chat. Please stay on mute, and then we'll try and answer those if we can. We've already got some questions to answer at the end, and hopefully there'll be some good experience for those that go through. So just for those that don't know CLUBMAP, we just about to have our 10th birthday. We work with a lot of clubs one-on-one. There's a number of clubs tuning in tonight that we work with a lot of governing bodies, councils and associations and leagues. And again, we work in all different components of off field, off pitch, off court. And we've engaged Elite Sports Philanthropy in terms of a module that we've added to our resources hub recently, which we'll go through in the latter part of this session. So just before we kick into gear, a lot of the people who have tuned into our sessions would have seen this slide. And this is the lay of the land Australia-wide. And the second point is probably what we're going to talk about tonight. But firstly, a lot of our clubs and our sport, whether it's sporting clubs or not-for-profits, they're specifically not educated in this content. And the second point here, a lot of our community organisations, the way they raise money has not changed in 50 years. And again, hopefully we'll give you a different method today of raising funds. Some of the philosophies you're going to hear today from the ESP team, there's going to be some high-level principles that can be adopted to community. And that's really important to emphasise that, because some people think, because some of the numbers they're going to mention tonight are quite big, but it's all about the philosophy that everyone can all the organisations that they put the right structure in place can tip into gear. So I'm going to hand over to Rob Trolful. Rob and I go back, Rob, 30 years.
Long time.
Rob was the CFO of Geelong. I was the CFO of a couple of other, Hawthorn, Collingwood, and we crossed paths. So welcome to you, Rob, and over to you, young fella.
Well, thanks, Terry, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We're going to be as snappy as we can. The presentation or the video will be sent out afterwards and so forth. Just before we jump into that slide, I'll introduce two of the team on the call. Greg Campitelli's there, and Greg's a co-founder of ESP with myself. Greg has spent 40 years in strategic philanthropy across all the sectors that raise money in this manner. We all know that charities and not-for-profits, education, medical research, etc., and now sport. With myself, we started the company 10 years ago when I finished at the Cats, and I've just finished 10 years on the board of the Cats Foundation, which I'm very proud of. Our consultant, Ian Jekyll, has also joined us. Ian has spent a lot of his life overseas working in sport and entertainment, and has studied philanthropy recently at the George Washington University, sport philanthropy specifically, actually, at the George Washington University. And our other consultant, you'll have to put up with three blokes, unfortunately, because Tisha is a late apology with children at the doctor. So we all know that takes priority. There's four sections and then some Q&A. And then there's three polls as Terry also runs through the session. So it is the great untapped opportunity, we think, in sport, and we're going to explain why that is the case tonight. But ourselves, I guess we refer to ourselves as unique in that we work only exclusively in the sports sector. We've all worked, Ian and I have worked in sport. Greg's spent his life in philanthropy. So we figure the three of us, and with Tisha also has worked in sport and at the Australian Sports Foundation as well. Between us all, we hope we can help everyone with everything we do. Thank you very much, Terry. Next one. We've helped raise $50 million in recent years. 90% of that at the elite level, but also you'll see tonight over $1 million at community level. And there's a number of benefits of philanthropy, not just the money. It's a terrific way to enhance your club's profile and visibility amongst the people, the members in the world. It's a new income stream, and it's one that we think is sustainable long term. I think we all probably donate money to charities every year, right? This is the same. We'll want to convince people to keep donating to our club every year. And also, a great asset is an expanded database with people donating and engaging with your club for the first time. Thanks, Terry. There's briefly our client portfolio. You see through various sports through the country, but I've highlighted community in yellow. So wanted just to make the point that we're also enjoy very much working at community level and making a difference with those 4 clubs. Right. Yeah, so just some insight before we get straight into it, just some insights into philanthropy in sport general, like across the country. There is quite a lot of philanthropy in sport going on, but there's a massive upside. So in the financial year to June 25, $119 million was donated to sport through the ASF, who provides a tax deduction platform, as you probably know, but I'm going to talk about in a moment. 40 million of that was for community sport, therefore $80 million at the elite level, and it's increasing. So there was 30,000 donations to community sport, 12% up on the year before, and there was 1,775 successful campaigns for fundraising in sport, again a double-digit increase over the year before, and the ASF is forecasting that 119 million number to be 300 million in 7 years. So they also agree there's an untapped potential in the sector. Thanks, mate. So the ASF, just to make sure everyone knows why we mentioned that, it's the Australian government established to provide tax relief to donations for sport, And so, but the key matter that needs to be satisfied is that the donation must help develop your club and your sport, must improve the club, must develop it, getting better all the time. And that therefore the ASF will provide the tax receipt accordingly. Thank you.
Rob, it's worth us just looking at maybe,
it's a poll, yeah.
just putting in a poll. I'd love to get everyone's feedback. So again, the question that's being asked, does your club intend to conduct a significant fundraising in 2026? If yes, what is your stretch revenue target? There's some different ranges there. Some may be less, some may be more, but I think we just want to get a feel for what organisations at community level, what level they wish to raise. While that's populating, I might kick into the second. Now, do you want to handball here, Rob?
Yeah, so
and we'll show these
I'd
results
like to
in a
introduce
couple of
Ian. Ian going to conduct this section, which just sort of looks philosophically at what does successful philanthropic fundraising look like. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Rob, and thanks, Terry, and good evening or good afternoon, everyone. So really, there's about 3 key factors that really ensure that philanthropic fundraising is successful. The first one's really the case, and that's the why. And as you know, we're involved in sport. It's all about, this is about storytelling. This is creating the narrative, creating the compelling purpose, and articulating that for why the funds need to be raised. Second bit is actually who we're going to talk to, who's actually going to provide that funding. And there's a broad range of individuals. And as Rob mentioned, a lot of us probably do give to charity on a regular basis, as well as organisations or foundations. So who do we really want to speak to? It's like any marketing campaign. Who are our target audience? And it can be multiple audiences within that stretch. And therefore, how is that support? Once we've acknowledged who we're speaking to, how is it going to be secured? And what's our plan and structure over a period of time to actually grab those funds and utilise them within the organisation? So the first point around that is really developing that that pitch document or that case for support that really articulates the purpose of the funding we're looking to attain. It's developing the compelling narrative. It's emotional. It's looking out to existing and ideally potential donors, as well as other stakeholders within the club's hierarchy and within the club's broad network of looking at why and how they can be donating. It's really it's a polish, it's an emotive piece, yet it's concise and to the point that really articulates what the club is looking for and what they're needing to achieve, and what ideally what the impact of those funds are going to be, what's the outcome will be. So it's a compelling narrative, and it really articulates a clear purpose of what you're about. It's not just a tin rattle, oh, you were looking for this, but it's really a bullet. It's a rifle approach versus shotgun approach, using a sporting narrative there to really what the funding's all about. So one of the questions that's come through is really, what can you fundraise for, and what is that effective tax relief? As Rob highlighted, the ASF funding via the ASF provides tax relief, but we know that there's other avenues that also people donate, but we'll focus on the tax element for this. So it's broadly what benefits the club people and all the sport. Your main initiatives, it could be capital infrastructure. You need a new gymnasium. You need a new grandstand. You need the bowls green to be repurposed, relaid, the footy pitch redone. Equipment could be fitting out that gymnasium. It could be actually getting a brand new set of lawn bowls. It could be a brand new set of cricket equipment for the club. It could be, looking at history, as Terry mentioned, he's been going for a number of years. He's no doubt wanting to compile a history of the organisation. You could actually start looking at funds to support that endeavour. Also looking at participation. With community sport, I know we live and die on participation, and whether that be our athletes or indeed our volunteers and club members, it's raising funds to support those initiatives. It could be supporting people who are travelling to a national or international event as part of their pathway in participation. So there's a number of areas, as well as developing that internal capability. We all know volunteers are stretched. The amount of volunteer support we can provide, and a lot of that is a costly exercise, all the better to maintain a relevance for those people to be involved and their ongoing enjoyment to their participation. So once we've figured out what we're really looking to raise money for, who are we going to ask? And just a really broad network. And sport's a wonderful thing because it's emotive, and people have got a passion about being engaged with their club or their organisation. So we've got our members, past and current. We've got our players and our coaches, current and previous coaches. We've got a deep empathy with the organisation that's provided them so much enjoyment and so much fun. We've got sponsors and suppliers, both current and previous sponsors, who may not, for example, have had a real purpose to be involved in the club moving forward. But for example, if there's a gym to be built or a social impact program to be implemented by the club, that may really resonate with something that they're wanting to do to meet their objectives as an organisation. We've got our medium to high net worth individuals and families who often are looking for something to support. We've got our existing committees and also previous committees, always deeply engaged people within the sports hierarchy. Our supporters who rock up every week, every weekend. There may have been a campaign before. The database may highlight a list of previous donors. They're well worthy to catch up with and to reach out to. Trusts and foundations. It's often a forgotten one, especially in sport. People assume that, trusts and foundations are there for medical research or for education or for the arts. Whereas a lot of those foundations and trusts certainly have an opportunity and a desire to impact community and impact society through sport. And we all know that sport provides wonderful outcomes and impacts through what it delivers week in, week out. And the one that's often forgotten, the bequest programs. We all know the supporter who lives and breathes and wants to be buried in the club scarf. Well, they're ideal people to just make aware of these opportunities, and they may think down the line, well, I may not be able to donate now in the real world. I've got my costs to cover. However, in a number of years' time when I'm no longer here, I'd love to provide some support for the club that I love and has provided me with so much joy over the journey. So there are a broad range of people who we ask. And sorry, how we fundraise? Well, we develop capital and major gift campaigns for those major infrastructure projects. We have events. We all know the Gala fundraising dinner, for example. But there's a number of programs that you can actually establish to raise funds via events. We know the personal challenge type of events. You could establish a regular and an annual giving program. A lot of schools we know do this. And provide, obviously, at times a matched giving opportunity with those, with the support of a wealthy benefactor or supporter or organisation that's part of the club. You could add on in terms of your regular registrations and membership, an opportunity for people to add that little bit extra, for example, towards a building fund or towards that gymnasium. And again, as I mentioned, the bequest programs is another opportunity. Okay, Terry.
Yeah, thanks, Ian.
Thank
Just
you,
while,
Terry. Thanks,
while we've
Ian.
got,
Just before we move on, I'll make the point there that I'm going to talk in a moment about a couple of examples of community clubs who have run the Capital Major Gifts campaigns, and then Greg will talk about present a product we've developed that is event based, just to put in context the future of the presentation with that slide. Thanks, Terry.
perfect. While we've got a little break between the speakers, these are the poll results. You'll see, I think, if you look at 0 to 25,000, there's probably about 30% of the audience they want to raise in that band of funds, 0 to 25. If you look at the next bands from 25 to 250, it probably makes up 60% of the audience. And then you've got a portion of 4 to 5% that wish to raise $250,000 to $500,000 plus. So again, that seems to be the sweet spot is between that 25 to 100 to 250, but it's just in terms of just letting everyone know what others are thinking at the same time. So, Rob, you're doing the next session?
Yeah, thank you, Terry. Yeah, thank you. So, okay, let's get a bit of meat on the bones. Who's done what successfully? So two clients of ours have raised significant money for capital infrastructure. And the point though here is that the principles are the same at elite level and community level. That's just the dollars are different. And I know Terry probably preaches that with the strategies that he puts forward in from CLUBMAP, which I'm well aware of, and it's the same. The dollars are different, but community sport can pull this off as well. There's no question. Thanks, Terry. So the first study is a club very close to my heart in Geelong, St Joseph's Football Netball Club. And we raised money and built a high performance centre, and you can see there a shot from the oval towards it, and also the money we raised fitted out the gymnasium, well, the high performance centre inside that you can see. Thank you. So the outcomes, money. We raised $600,000. And this is not a chest pumping exercise. This is just showing it is possible to raise significant money, whether it's 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 at community level. It's all relative. And this club's quite a big club, and so it needed the gym to be what it was, and so we needed to raise a lot of money, which we did. So $500,000 in what we might call a private phase of high net worth individuals, and then $100,000 in the community phase where we invited the whole club and the world to help us pull this off. But the other outcomes I love almost as much, or probably even more, is it brought the whole club together emotionally to deliver something transformational. And if you think, we would preach that is almost what philanthropy is about. It's bringing people together to achieve something together that's transformed and develops their club, their charity, their hospital, their school, their university. The other one, the next outcome I love too, is that it helped further galvanise all the playing groups, whether they're male or female, whether they were young or old, whether they were playing football or netball on Thursdays or Fridays or Sundays, and our all abilities teams. It's just a tear to the eye when I walk in there to see the mix of people using the gym all at the same time. And of course, the
Rob,
club's
can I ask,
brand reputation has been enhanced accordingly.
of all those donations, what percentage went through the Australian Sports Foundation?
Well, 100%.
100%.
Mm.
Again, I just really encourage a lot of our organisations, if you're going to go down this path, you should be registered with the Australian Sports Foundation, Rob, which creates that tax vehicle for deductible contributions.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So I probably wanted to put in a bit more detail here, and I thought I would keep that case market method concept there. So when we were asking people to donate, why? It wasn't, you don't see the win word there, the winning. It wasn't about that, because winning's hard, but it's about fitness, health, and well-being, bringing the whole club together, and it provided a home for the club all year round because the pavilion shared with the cricket club, as would many sporting community clubs share their facilities with other clubs and sports at different times of the year. So that was the emotive proposition. Market. Ian touched on these, but the point I want to make here is that the club executive had to be the first owners. How can we ask people to do something we're not prepared to do ourselves? We have to be the first donor, and we were. Then to raise the $500,000 high net worth, medium net worth people, and then to the entire community, family and friends in the community phase, or as I sometimes say, the world. Then the method was a capital campaign, private and then public. It's critically important in a capital campaign, if we are asking people who may be able to donate a bit more than others, that everyone still gets the opportunity to help. So method, high medium net worth donors, 5,000 and above, over 2 years. And then we ran a social media driven campaign for the $100,000. Hopefully that makes sense in a short period of time. But that's how we defined the target. It's a sort of a mix of market and method. So what was the next club? Can you please go back a slide, Terry? Yeah. So the next study was Port Fairy Football Netball Club. And I know they're both football netball clubs, but that's just truthfully the two community clubs that have made the biggest impact that we wanted to explain. This one's a little bit different. It's in 2 stages. So don't think we need to do everything at once. I mean, this is $6 million, and it's hard to do something like that in one hit. So we staged it into change rooms, which is being built on the left. And then stage 2 in the future will be a new pavilion, which is that one in the middle. The change rooms is the brown one down the outside on the right. But the new pavilion is the one in the middle. Multiple funding parties, both levels of government and the club. And yeah, thank you. So my point there is, if you're at a club that needs significant funds, government get on board, it may well be staged, and that's fine from a philanthropy point of view. Thank you. Because donors can give in stages as well. They might say, well, I can do $10,000. I'll do 5 now and 5 when you need it for stage 2. Fine. Outcomes, amazingly, Port Fairy Football Netball Club have raised almost $1 million right now in the private phase. And we've now lifted the target to 1.5. Being agile and nimble and capitalizing and getting out there and telling people how successful it's been, because everyone loves a winner. People get on board, right? Again, here, the next 3 bullet points are not about winning. It's about providing stage 1, up a bit, Terry. Stage 1, new change rooms for everyone, including females. The club's brand reputation's been amazingly enhanced in the eyes of the government, And the new being Port Fairy, and this might apply to many people and their towns and communities on the call, where the new pavilion will be an asset for the entire town and community to use. It's just not going to sit there for the football netball club. It will be used every day, all year round, and that's just what an emotive proposition to the people. Pretty much, I won't maybe go through the three boxes, essentially the same, but I would make the point in method that it hasn't gone to the community yet, this campaign. And what we're doing, what I'm expecting next year is the product that Greg will talk you through in a moment. I'm expecting Port Fairy utilise that next year to help them get to their 1.5 and engage their community, every person, to help pull this thing off, in addition to the $1 million they've raised already. Thank you. And then I'm going to hand over to Greg now, who will talk through a unique opportunity to raise money such as on the screen now.
Rob, is it Rob? Can I just ask before we kick into Greg? Is it worth doing the second poll now? Is it?
Yes, yeah, do the second poll actually.
Right.
Please.
So we're just going to bring up the second poll. Sorry, Greg, just to give you. But the question is going to be poll number 2. So the question is, having heard what your club can raise for, what do you consider your club's greatest need? Is it capital infrastructure? Is it equipment? Is it history preservation? Is it increasing participation? Is it improving internal capacity, staff volunteer training, participant travel? Or you're not sure? So whilst that's populating, we'll handball over to you. So welcome, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. And I just wanted to echo some of the points that Ian and Rob have raised. That point about the case for support piece that Ian has so rightly articulated and Rob supported, they're not just 3 bullet points on a slide here. That's a beautifully articulated document that has passion, it's evocative, it's factual, it's got quotes. It speaks to, notice when Rob was talking, he talked about these facilities. But, you know, often we go, well, what do you need the money for? Oh, I need the money for a change room. Well, that's the feature. What you need to describe, yeah, of course, you've got to describe what the feature is, but then you've got to describe what the benefits of the building are, which you must be able to articulate. You know, if you want to, you know, buy a car with 5 airbags in it, the feature is the 5 airbags, but what's the benefit? It's going to save your life. So talk about the benefits of what you're doing, and the more you can involve community access, as Rob's articulated, the better. And finally, the impact, the longitudinal impact of what this infrastructure piece might do. So obviously those results might have come in, Terry. I've got the poll underway, and we might move on now.
Yeah, I'll just share those results. So again, repeating the question, having heard what your club can raise funds for, what do you consider your club's greatest needs? 43% are saying capital infrastructure, 8% are saying equipment, 5% history preservation, 22% increasing participation, and 20% improving internal capacity. So it's sort of a mixed bag, isn't it, of what the needs are of what you raise funds for. So I'll now get you to walk through wanting to raise between 50 and 500K, Greg.
And what's really interesting is if you can deliver a project with capital infrastructure and throw some equipment in it, you probably get increased participation, right? They sort of, it helps, you know, like it sort of helps. So Rob and I might get you to just close off the poll if you wouldn't mind, Terry, off the screen. What Ian, Rob and I have developed is a product. So, okay, Rob's talked about the sort of the private and community phases of a campaign. So if we think about this, we want to have a private phase. Well, that's going to be made up of people with capacity who can make a significant gift. What's a significant gift? Maybe $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, $50,000. Fully tax deductible, might come with some recognition, and might be pledged over 1, 2, 3, or even 4 years. That's what that looks like. How many people is that? Well, when Rob and I and Ian have done the analysis over all the campaigns we've run, what's really fascinating is about 70 or 80% of people will give a big chunk of the money. And then about 30% of people will give a lot of little pieces of money, right? So what you've got to do is sort of make those first approaches to those wealthy people with a bit more money early on, and they can be used, as Ian said before, to inspire others to then give too. And we call that matched giving. And we can talk about that a bit further. So what we've done is we've cleverly combined the two ideas into one, this idea of how do we combine this idea of getting people to make their gift privately and use it as a match give, and then inspire the community, or Rob likes to call it the world, to then give. So we've come up with a product called that, Ian and Rob, we've called it the 10 for 100 challenge, Terry. Let's break that down. 4 heroes of your club, much loved champions of your club, and you can all probably think of those right now, who have inspired your club and have done great things. Can these 4 heroes, over a 10-hour period in a baton relay format, so one person on the track at any one time, cover 100 kilometres in 10 hours? Well, that's motoring, Terry. I don't know if I could do it. And I'm sure that, Terry, you're fitter than me and you're younger than me, so you could do it very easily. And Rob,
Might be the Cliffy Young shuffle, Greg, for me.
Yeah, Cliffy Young.
Cliffy Young shuffle. So 200 kilometres, just a set that is 250 laps of a 400-metre racetrack, or an athletics track. Now, what's really, really interesting is that every club on this call, Ian and Rob and Terry, understand running laps. It's the heartbeat of every athletic club in Australia. Let's face it, whether it's footy, soccer, basketball, baseball, doesn't matter. Ultimately, the athletes have been running laps to do their pre-season training or for a punishment or what have you. So can these 4 heroes basically do 100 kilometres in 10 hours? That's meaning 25 Ks each. Next slide, please, Terry. So let's talk about the champions, the heroes. I mentioned 4 much-loved heroes of your club. Now, as Rob likes to point out, the heroes can actually be teams. It could be 4 groups of 4, or 4 groups of 5, or 4 groups of 10. But just for the purpose of it, think about it as 4 individuals. If they were 4 individuals and only 4, they need to be reasonably fit. And basically, each of them needs to cover 25 Ks in a 10-hour period. They're not running at the same time. There's one person running for a few laps, handing over to the next person, handing over to the next person, handing over to the next person. They have to be reasonably fit. And Terry, most of all, they've got to be prepared to fundraise. And ideally, they are reasonably active on social media. They don't have to be a social media, expert, but, they might have a bit of Twitter, they might have a bit of Facebook, they might have a bit of TikTok or what have you. And this is this idea of trying to get people to do something extraordinary, hard, and remarkable. It's a bit like shave for a cure. I don't want to shave all my hair off, although I've got very little, Terry. But I might get someone, I might ask someone who wants to raise money might do it and do something difficult to do that. If we just click to the next slide. Thank you, Terry. All right, success. The method applies a proven, this is really important, a proven successful fundraising model. Sponsoring someone to do something difficult that I don't really want to do myself. Now, all of us would have participated in walkathons. The shave for a cure. I don't want to shave my head, but I'm happy to sponsor someone else who'll do it. Most of you will remember when Shane Crawford, Rob, went from Adelaide to Melbourne, and then he did from Perth to Melbourne to raise funds for breast cancer. He was doing something very difficult that a lot of people would want to do themselves. And a lot of people, companies, suppliers, corporates, friends, Rob, local community sponsored him to do that. And obviously Channel 9 got behind it and he raised several $1 million.
And even I was just thinking then, Greg, even the like Neil Danaher, he is even though he is suffering, and he is doing something very difficult, isn't he? By advocating so hard in his current health for the cause.
Correct.
So he's got everything nailed.
And so these 4 athletes are doing something for the fans and members that the fans and members deeply care about. Ian spoke about the passion for the club. And this, it leverages the notion of match giving via major donors. hey, could our 4 sponsors and our club go out to several key major donors and say, will you put a big gift into sponsor our 4 champions who metaphorically or literally would have died on the field of battle for their club? This in turn, what's really, really interesting, if you get this idea of 4, 5 or 10 match donors who put in $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 each, that could inspire the community to give. So basically what you're saying is, I tell you what, community, if you give $50 or $100, we've got some significant corporate and private individuals who will match you dollar for dollar. And what this does, Terry, it increases the average gift amount from the members. They, instead of when they go to donate, they say, oh, what happens if I put in $50? Oh, it gets doubled to 100. What happens if I put in 200? Oh, it gets doubled to 400. Oh, gee, if I go to 200, that could be 600. That might buy X for the club. This so it increases the average gift. It facilitates sponsors uplift and delivers increased visibility for your sponsors. They're always trying to think about what else can we do for the sponsors, give them a bit of more airtime. And this leverages the notion of urgency. This challenge occurs on one day, Terry. This is the 10-4-100 challenge. It's going to occur on the 1st of March next year. That's the day it occurs on. And on that day, we can have fan participation and member participation.
Terrific. Hey, Greg, while I've got you, you're a former teacher?
I am indeed.
One of your students might have posted something up. He says, I had to do, Marcus, I had to do 6 walkathons while attending CBC St Kilda with Mr. Campitelli supervising. Is that right?
That's absolutely 100% right. And I bet you Marcus raised a fair bit of coin. And if he hasn't, I'm going to come after him. No. But Marcus,
that's not a setup, by the way. That's...
It's the same principle. It's the same principle. Go and ask your family and friends to sponsor you to walk 20 Ks, which what the walkathon was.
I think I like it. You can be flexible. Like if you're at a golf club, a sponsor running a hole, I don't know what it is, but you could soccer ovals or
that's a point, Greg, about that it's. I mean without giving everyone a million different scenarios, but it's adaptable to a certain sport. Like lawn bowls, of course, you can bowl a certain amount of ends in a certain period of time, or motor racing, or karting or yachting or something. It can be just adapted to the sport of to the sport, and also maintaining it being a little challenging.
Because the event will be held at your club, your local ground, your athletics track or equivalent. Why? Because your club understands the space. You understand the signage. You can utilize the scoreboard. You might have lights. You might have a PA. All players, coaches, fans, friends, members are encouraged to come on along the day and support. And then we build in value-added activities on the day, such as a membership recruitment drive, merchandise sales, kids activities, have some jumping castles, some food stalls, some music, a DJ, and invite this sort of really interesting electric atmosphere that can occur. People can donate on the day, and more importantly, at the end of the day, at the end of the 10 hours, we could have a scratch challenge match to wrap up the whole event. So again, we've really workshopped this whole strategy, Terry, to make it very deliverable, because everyone wants to raise money. Often people don't know how to do it.
Greg, just while I've got you, a question on the post. Can this platform type of fundraiser be hosted on ASF platform? So ASF representing the Australian Sports Foundation. Ian, I think she's jumped in and said yes. So the answer is yes, absolutely. That's what it's
absolutely. ASF.
The ASF are fully aware of the program and they support it wholeheartedly. So absolutely, as long as the end impact, or the outcome and then impact, is sport orientated, absolutely.
I'll just add, for those that aren't registered with the ASF, it's a really simple process. If you go to asf.org.au, then you'll be able to register with the Australian Sports Foundation. It's a little bit of red tape, but trust it's a very simple process. So, and
it's very simple compared to what it used to be. So
100%.
Even I could do it now.
and that is saying something. So the outcomes you're going to get is new revenue, which is going to deliver a tangible and immediate outcome for your club that is measurable and deliverable. It's going to give you an asset, which is a database that builds a new asset of future donors who may give again. when asked appropriately and politely, and ideally face to face. And this event is replicable. You could do the 10 for 100 challenge every 2 years, every 5 years, on the Olympic cycle, every 4 years. We're going to do the next challenge. And last time we raised 100 grand. Next time we're going to raise 200 grand. And everyone knows the rules of engagement. As Marcus said, he was at CBC St Kilda to give it away for 6 years, and he did 6 walkathons, and he didn't give up. It's a replicable event. What sort of support would you get from us? Well, it's all fully documented. We have a whole event planning guide. We've got timelines and budgets. We've got the fundraising webpage that will interact with the ASF site. We've got a fundraising how-to guide. We've got the naming rights sponsors guide. We've got the marketing and comms guide, and much more. So it's not, Terry, here it is, there's the idea, go away and do it. No, it's a very well documented plan that follows clear rules for engagement that increases the chances of success.
And can I just say, even putting my hat on where we work with clubs one-on-one, holding their hand, this is an example of where we have an organisation that's been there, done that, lived it, breathed it, gets it, where they can actually hold your hand. And obviously there's an offer they're going to put to you now in terms of how, if you needed direct support, here's a way of going about it.
And I think there was a question just off the
John,
wire there.
it
was not it wasn't a Dorothy Dix question. It was a legitimate.
John's not on the payroll, so John, this is the slide now. So
Terry, we realise that people have to go back and talk to their club about how they would get involved. If you are interested in doing a 10 for 100 challenge, which is a trademarked event that we've got, all you've got to do is send an email to greg@elitesportsphilanthropy.com.au or rob@elitesportsphilanthropy or Ian, whichever you prefer, and send one of us, our club might be interested. That's an expression of interest. You're in the running.
Greg, we're going to do a poll at the end where people can opt in to receive some information. So,
and
so
they can do
that'll
that.
save you a lot of hassles at the
All
end.
right. And
no, Terry, I think the poll's just a very general.
Okay.
This is a bit different.
Very general request if people would like to talk to us maybe about a capital campaign or a quest program. This one's
specifically on 10 for 100 challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
The first 4 clubs who eventually say yes, I will, because we might get 20 or 30 clubs who want to do an EOI, and the first 4 clubs who convert that to a signing on the dotted line will pay a 0 license fee, saving 10 grand, pay only 10% of the revenue raised instead of 15%. So if you raise, $200,000, you can do the maths. Have a dedicated Elite Sports Philanthropy account manager. So you're going to get either Ian, myself, or Tisha, or Rob, who will meet you with once a fortnight over the whole campaign period, and that's the offer. So we want to help. We think it's a game changer for sports clubs across Australia who get a challenge event and use a challenge event to raise a lot of money that will benefit and be a game changer for your club. Terry and Rob and Ian, I think it's a perfect time to go to the floor and let people ask any questions they'd like to of myself, Rob, or Ian and Terry.
We're going to do that at the end, Greg.
We'll do that in the end, Terry.
We've got a little bit of other content to cover.
No worries.
We've got some questions before the session, and so just thanks, Rob and Ian and Greg for that. So again, anyone who's looking for grants for funding, there's just the SRV closes in a couple of weeks. You can see the various statewide grants that. Again, a lot of our organisations, they may not be aware of what is around at the current time. Also, I want to go to this. This is our resources hub. We have nearly 5,000 people using our platform now. We've just added, it's $50 a year for one person. If you want a full club to access it, it's $149. But if you are interested in accessing our content, which is on about 14 modules, it's hub.clubmap.com.au. You can watch any of these webinars on demand. Like it's about 15 different topics. We've just added a module in the last month. You can see the different, hopefully
there it is.
Hopefully today is wet the juices of philanthropy. And again, it's hard to digest everything that's being put across you tonight. We've got about 14, 15 2-minute videos on how to bring and how to help. It's sort of, you'll still need direct support, but this is the base around sort of setting some foundation. But again, there's a new module there, and that was released a couple of weeks ago. Any of our existing clients that are tuning in tonight, they can log in and see that module, and it's now alive and well. So just before we kick into gear, this is our second last webinar before Christmas. We've got a topic on infrastructure and facilities, and that's on Monday, December 1. That'll be our last topic before Christmas. Now, I've got some notes here, and we're happy to got some questions from the floor, but we had some questions from pre-attendees. So I'll start with you, Rob, or it's Michaela Hewins from Queensland Synchronised Ice Skating. Her question was, how can clubs make fundraising feel more rewarding or relevant for families who are already time poor?
Yes, I was a good thing about that this afternoon. So, in a short sentence, it's in the communication, language, and storytelling of the case, where providing the families and the volunteers that are time poor, as we all are in our volunteering capacities, and everyone, all the ESP team members volunteer at their own clubs, but it's all in the language that it is an emotional, transformational project for the club. It's not a raffle ticket to buy a bunch of shoelaces. Is the first thing I thought of. But this is a transformational event that will propel our club forward and will never be the same again. So it's educating. We do a lot of educating with committees and boards, which we're doing tonight, I guess, in some manner. But I think that's the answer to that question in a short minute or two.
All right, I might get the first 2 or 3 questions from you, Rob, and then I'll go to the members. But because Rob was a bit prepped, we gave Rob a bit of a heads up. Mark Woods, Pine Valley Pistol Club in WA. How do you approach large businesses to support grassroots sports events? What do they expect out of it?
Sorry, what was that one? I wasn't aware of that one. Sorry.
Yeah, so Mark Woods, Pine Valley Pistol Club. How do you approach large businesses to support grassroots sports events? What do they expect out of it?
I'll grab that one, Rob.
Go for it. Yep.
I think the key thing is really to have that initial discussion and that fact-finding mission, really, to really understand what the objectives are of that organisation that you're looking to support your club. And it could be a wide and varied range of objectives. They may wish to build their awareness up. They may wish to increase some sales. They may wish to improve their brand presence. They may wish to offer opportunities for their employees to be involved in the club in the first instance as members themselves. Yes. So it's really having a deep understanding of really what that brand is looking for, what that organisation is looking for, and of working together to come up with that solution that meets their objectives. And then defining that, articulating that, servicing that. So ideally, that old adage of a bird in the hand is better than 3 in the bush. To looking after that partner, ensuring that those objectives are met, so they come back again and again and again.
And it's not, I just want to add to that too. A lot of people approach corporates and larger businesses with, here's your logo placement, and here's your signage, and here's your brand. They're not interested in that. So you've got to sit down and say, what would you like from a partnership with us, and how can we be the conduit to achieve exactly what Ian just said, your needs? You're going to be more likely to succeed than not if you take that approach.
Next question.
Totally, Terry, you got me on a roll now. So, and just to add that to balance it up, I think it's a bit on the sponsor as well to come to the club, spend time at the club, meet other sponsors, and work it themselves, as well as the club doing everything they can do as well. So there's obligations on both sides, I reckon.
Okay, Ali O'Brien, why PTHOHA Netball Club in Tasmania. Our club does not have a clubhouse. How do we go about storage of equipment and even clubhouse planning to get it off the ground?
Well,
It's a big job, isn't it?
yeah, I maybe we could chat afterwards. It's probably more of a master planning, facility development, government type question, which philanthropy is a cog in the wheel, but it's probably a bigger discussion. Yeah, if that's all right.
My advice,
Do you
Ali.
agree with that?
My advice, Ali, our next webinar on December the 1st is on facilities and infrastructure. And we'll talk about the story, the journey, and these are journeys. Anyone's undertaking a major capital project, they don't just happen.
No.
These are long-term projects which need a lot to go right, but it's all about, there's a lot of, as Rob said, there's a lot of cogs in the wheel that really need to be ticked.
Yeah, and it takes resilience to achieve such things.
I put up that poll before anyone, but if anyone wants to have a chat with ESP, it's the third question. You can tick the box. I think we've already had a good number of people have ticked the box, but if you wish to have a direct chat, just tick the box, then they'll reach out. We've already got your details when you're registered, so they can reach out in due course. I'll go to you. I've got one more question. Linda, I've dealt with Linda, Bell Park Sports Club. How does this?
Hello, Linda.
Where's Linda? Is Linda? I could see her. There she is. You've been in the trenches a long time, Linda, haven't you? So you said, how does this option differ from the Australian Sports Foundation? So it's actually, Rob, you can answer this, but it's philanthropy using the ASF as the vehicle, isn't it?
Yes. The ASF totally endorses our firm and often recommends us. They do provide, as I understand it, I think might be where Linda's headed, is that they do offer some strategy services. However, we offer what you've seen tonight, and they recognise our capability and experience over a long period of time as well. So in some ways you might think we do the same thing, but I think we offer different services, and they endorse our firm.
Perfect.
Often.
But I just saw a question on the chat. Does the 10% fee include or exclude the ASF fee? So the ASF, so just to be clear, any contributions to the Australian Sports Foundation, they do hold 5%. All right. So then the ESP fee would be in addition to that. So
yeah, that's correct.
So I think that was by Ali, but again, the fact that you've got that vehicle to create the deductibility, it encourages the donors. So is
on the face of it, it would be an 85% return on donations, 10 and 5.
Yeah. Okay. Has anyone got a direct question I wish to go offline and ask from the floor? And then we're just about ready to try and wind these up with inside the hour. So, does anyone want to put their hand up and ask a question? No? All good. All righty. I think we're good to go. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I think it's just great to have the experience of Rob, Greg, and Ian here tonight. Again, those that have already registered with us, they can watch this webinar in full tomorrow on the Resources Hub. We'll send out a recording to obviously the attendees tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be the morning after. It's usually inside 24, 48 hours. But again, Rob, you got anything else you want to wind up with to wind it up?
Just to wind up, we hope we got through what we needed to do. We're available for questions any time, and it's certainly an opportunity for all community clubs to consider. There's no question.
And I think Terry, just to finish, we threw some numbers out there before about the amount of money that's going into sport and what the ASF targets are. I think the big opportunity that's really worth emphasising is that sport generally in Australia only receives 1% of the philanthropic donations that are provided. And we know that sport provides multiple benefits for the community. Now, if we can tap into an additional 1% at a minimum, the benefits for our sporting organisations would be immense. So I think it's just worth considering this. The opportunity there is golden. It's a really good one to try and grasp and leverage to really improve your club's outputs.
Don't think we're too
Right.
small to do it, Terry. We're not too small. In fact, sometimes community clubs, Rob, are very agile. And often the big clubs that we work with have to go through a myriad of committees, Terry, and boards and consideration. And here, a community club can make a fast, rapid, agile decision to do a project. We've got the methodology and a solution. Thanks, Terry.
Good on you guys. So thanks
All right.
everyone for tuning in. You can see on our slide that's the next webinar, which is in 3 weeks tonight. This will really complement the session that we've had tonight. So over and out from us. Take care and Merry Christmas if we don't see you soon.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.